goes into ping pong with the iPod Secretariat. There are quite a number of correspondences. Who is being intellectually dishonest? We'll be discussing this and more in the front line, and I'm joined by Honorable Asmani Basalirwa, President of the Justice Forum and Member of Parliament for Bugiri Municipality, Mr. Leonard Egesa, a self-proclaimed political strategist.
Who proclaims them?
Well, I thought he was an analyst, but he corrected and said he's a strategist. Honorable Ofwono Opondo, the NRM flag bearer for older persons from Eastern Uganda. He's a frontliner, together with Honorable Semuju Ibrahim Nganda, Member of Parliament, Kira Municipality, and Chief of Party in the PFF. Good to have you all. Well, Chief of Staff. Chief of Staff, spokesperson, brand chief, right?
You see, when you're a president of Uganda, there are functions. Every function doesn't become a title.
Last time you reminded me.
I am chief of staff. Mm-hmm. My work includes speaking for the party, but also I am the brand master of the party. So those are just functions.
Well, good to have you all. Honorable Basalirwa, lately you've been in the news. Of course, you suffered the wrath. You are among the casualties of the onslaught of the National Unity Platform. Mm. To what extent does do the remarks of Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi while in Bugiri shape or define the trajectory of his campaigns?
Well, I would prefer really that you help me focus on more national issues and more substantive issues, more national issues.
Okay, one of the key ingredients of what has shaped the campaigns 3 weeks down the road is the campaign of maligning people. For instance, you've been branded as a sellout who should not be voted back to Parliament. And it's been typical of several other rallies where a number of opposition members have been derided in the same sense. What does it mean?
Well, I think, Simon, in my case, I have been branded a sellout for very many years. In fact, when I contested for Guild presidency in 2000 at Makerere, and I was eventually voted on the 17th of April 2000, those allegations were there. You know, the politics in our time, obviously some people have not outgrown it. We used to have what we would call malice and sabotage committee in Guild politics. Now some of our colleagues have not outgrown that kind of politics. They want to, to transfer it into national politics. That is really diversionary. I would prefer that presidential candidates and the panelists here focus on really substantive and national issues. I don't want to make, Bobi Wine a topic anymore. He made an allegation. I responded. I have closed the chapter. I really don't want to make him an issue. Okay. Because he has his own challenges. So I would prefer that, we let it pass. Don't, Haji Naduli would say, don't smallerize me to mean. So please, no. Let's focus on more serious issues. Okay.
But I think that's very critical. The tone, the messaging.
Politics is a contact sport. You can't run away from that fact. Being a contact sport, there are hardy tackles here and there. Even President Museveni has deployed that tactic. Yeah, like he says, they attacked him, he hit back, and he put the matter to rest. So I think...
could it be one of the defining key things in the 3 weeks of political campaigns? And what else are you seeing on the radar?
Well, first of all, if I were a presidential candidate, and I will assure you I will be, as long as I'm alive, inshallah. I would really be focusing on issues in my manifesto, issues that affect the country. Individualizing politics or politicizing individuals, in my view, would be a very secondary and peripheral issue. I know there are some people who thrive on blackmail, character assassination, and especially people who have had a history of celebrity life. You know, they take pride in, you know, kuisa mwegali. It's synonymous with people who are coming from a certain orientation. Now, for us who have been structured and programmed and trained through political processes, you know, Simon, when I came to Parliament, Honorable Chanjo sat me down the late for about 3 hours. And he was telling me the do's and don'ts in Parliament. That's why, for example, you will not find me having loans in Parliament. You know, he was telling me, if you cannot do things in the 25 million, even if you got 100 million, you will not do. So we had an opportunity to go through orientation of some of the best legislators in this country. We have grown through some of the best politicians in this country. So that's why we are different. And because we are different, we are not easily understood. Now, people coming from some orientations that, you know, are not very clear and certain will begin, you know, smallizing issues, to quote Haji Naduli. So I would prefer, Simon, that we focus on more national issues. And my message, by the way, to those seeking the highest offices in the country, please focus. Focus on the national issues. Focus on your agenda, what you plan to do for the country, and let people listen to you. If you don't do that, you'll be doing a very big disservice. And if you decide to go person, as my brother says, it's a contact sport, let it also be as a matter of principle. Okay? When you make a comment, don't make a pedestrian comment on an individual. Make a comment with further and better particulars, as we say in law. When you make a pedestrian statement, then you become a pedestrian. So for me, I want to look at it in that broader angle, in that broader sense. And as I say,
I feel your tone. You sound rattled.
By what?
The remarks of the...
By what? But as I said, don't take me there.
Simon, I think we shouldn't let the president of Justice Forum Party get away with the brush off. We say all politics is local. Yes. There's that phrase.
Yes.
I guess you know what it means. Now, let us look at Basariwa's own background, immediate background, to becoming an MP. And that's why I don't want us to let him run off.
Roped by.
Basariwa had run for elections in Bujiri, I think twice.
Thrice.
Thrice?
Thrice.
And you had not been successful. This person from some background, celebrity background, you went and hired him. That was a hired gun. So you hired a gun, it came and shot some birds for you, and you entered Parliament. I want to believe that you must have discussed his coming onto your campaign platform, certain expectations. None of us, at least I'm not privy to them, those expectations. I suspect that it is out of his frustration, disappointment, that probably you have not met those expectations.
Coupled, there is a fallout.
Yeah, coupled with probably how you walk these days and how you talk. They're saying he's now telling your voters who, in their view and in his own view, if he had not come onto your campaign, probably you wouldn't have succeeded. And so that's why he thinks, and he tells people publicly that you have been a letdown. You have used here the phrase a sellout. He thinks you are a letdown. So maybe, could you tell us what minimum agreement you had that he now concludes that you are a sellout?
Didn't that agreement have a confidentiality clause?
Well, if let him say so. Let him say so. But for him, just I don't agree with the person. I don't consider Kyagulanyi much. Even when he has people following him. But many of you believed that was something. And that's why you brought him to your side.
You see, Simon, again at the risk of repeating myself, I really didn't want to go the OO way. But let me make two issues very clear. Bobi did not come to Bugiri out of the blue. Bobi came to Bugiri because I had been in Chadon. In fact, I was the only opposition political party leader who had openly gone to his campaigns in Chadon. The FDC political leader was not there. The UPC political leader was not there. The CP political leader was not there. The DP political leader was not there. It was Basari. So I think that must be understood. That he came as a payback. It was not out of the blue. That's one. Number two, you know very well that I was not contesting in the Bugiri municipality before. I was contesting in Bukoli North constituency. So when this municipality was carved out, where, by the way, all those times that I was losing, in that particular municipality, I was always winning. So I would win in the municipality and lose in the rural areas because there's a lot of politics you do UNRM in those rural areas. So in that particular municipality, where you pass, by the way, you know that all the times I was contesting, I was winning it. Then I would lose in there. So when the opportunity came and the municipality was carved out, I said, this is now a God-given chance. My stronghold has now been made a constituency, and I had to go out about it. But three, I want you to be very honest, and Ibra is there. You cannot count 10 best performing MPs in parliament, and you leave Basari out. You cannot. In fact, for the record in this...
Yeah, but in his judgment...
No, let me make my point. That's why I said, even if you are to engage in personal, attacks, they must be objective and principled. And I will come to that. So, in this 11th Parliament, there is no member of Parliament. There is no member of Parliament who has brought more private members' bills Basari. Is not there. So even if you are looking at legislative quality, you cannot wish away Basari. So if you are telling people vote him out, okay?
Maybe it's not after legislative quality.
Yeah, but that's what
your contribution to the cause.
It could be similar to Bashir Kaziwe. Maybe you agreed to give him money. And you did not. And this was the story I hear about Bashir Kaziwe.
No, there was no agreement.
And many people, even in Inup, he's kicking them out. Even what, from the ordinary eye, we see as good legislators.
No, he's also kicking out to rebel MPs, just like your boss kicked out
I'm talking about good legislators, the quality Ambassador is talking about.
The question is leadership.
Pardon? Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe he's not after his priority area. Is not a quality of legislation that you are shaping.
That's why I said, when you make an accusation, make further and better particulars, so that we are in position to respond to you. When you don't do that, you do a disservice to the country.
You never met his expectations.
What were they? Do you know them? Do you know them? Because a member of parliament, how have you known Basari? I have been a legal activist. One of my clients is there, Ibra here. All the times Ibra has been arrested, it is me who goes to court. I have not stopped. People I have been representing. That parliament, you see, I have a sizable number of MPs where I offer personal legal services.
Honorable Basalino, I will certainly get back to you. Leonard, what's your evaluation of the 3 weeks of the presidential campaigns?
Dumb question. I don't know why you are
It's quite fundamental. It's one of the ingredients.
Maybe he's not interested in my answer. But before we go into that, but anyway, it is also part of what has been in the 3 weeks of the presidential campaign. Number one, politics is a contact sport. And in a contact sport, you do not choose the style that your opponent uses. So, for example, Honorable Basalirwa cannot decide how he gets attacked. That is a prerogative of the other side. So you don't choose the strategy that the other team uses. The team uses a strategy that it considers to be effective. Yeah. The other thing is, OO says that maybe the NUP presidential candidate is not interested in the quality of legislators that he used to ally with in the previous election. That could also be true. Like I said here, monkey see, monkey do. He's been groomed by the politics of NRM. President Museveni appeared in Jinja, what is now Jinja Southeast Division, that constituency which is being represented by Honorable Nathan Igeme Nabeta. He appeared there one time in a by-election campaign, and he said, even if you bring me people who sleep, as long as they wake up and vote, that is better. Yeah? So at the end of the day, the NUP, like any other party, they are in this thing first for numbers. You are a presidential candidate, but you also want to get numbers in parliament. Number two, there is a bit of discipline. Yeah? So you cannot say that NRM can kick out rebel MPs, but NUP cannot kick out rebel MPs. Now the definition of rebel can vary from party to party. Yeah? So if rebel is defined as having your own independent mind and expressing it publicly, and yet it is contrary to what the party leadership or the party president believes, that so be it. That is how they define rebel.
Yeah, but in your assessment, what's been typical of the 3 weeks?
No, the 3 weeks, like I shared here before, the 3 weeks, you see, the NUP came with a certain frame of the NRM's way of doing political campaigns. They expected that it would be a fight between them and the security forces. Now, if you come with a certain template, you have framed your opponent in a certain way. You come to the field and you find the opponent has changed tact. Yeah, you become clueless, and at times you can actually get lost. So that is why people are saying the campaign is boring. People are saying the campaign needs some injection of tear gas. You have had this sentiment in the population. This is what they are used to. They are used to having these kind of things.
So NUP came with a template.
Yeah, they came with a template.
And they were outsmarted.
Now they need to go back. He has raised a very substantive issue, that they need to talk about national issues. So they had not anchored their presidential campaign on articulating issues, or in other words, driving the narrative that is going to shape their presidential campaign. So they came with a victim card. Yeah. Now, the victim card cannot apply when the aggressor, the assumed or the presumed aggressor, does not behave the way you expected them to behave. Yeah. So the moment that the aggressor pulls the sting out of the game, then you are lost. So they need to go back, have a proper strategy, craft their own narrative. Let me give you an example. I think you want us to talk about it later, but let me give you an example. This whole iPod issue, it demonstrated one thing, that the NUP lacks a strategic advisory team for their presidential campaign. Why would you allow such a thing to stick in the media? They would have diverted their attention a long time ago by bringing something different. Number two, even the way they did it, you don't just wake up and say...
So you think it's overshadowed even the little issues that...
The iPod issue has now overshadowed, so people are now accusing them of having run short of funds to run the presidential campaign. So what would they have done differently? If they had a strategy team, what they could have done is, first of all, the leadership does not come out to own such a sensitive issue, which is most likely going to backfire in most cases. People are going to say it is all about the money in iPod. Yeah. So what you do, you get a court jester. The politics of getting court jesters is not new. Even President Museveni has used it countless times. When he says he wants to change age limit, he does not start the conversation, or he does not tell his Secretary General to write to the party whip in Parliament. No. What he does, he gets one person who behaves like a jester. A mudingidi in Uganda, that's what they call it, the mudingidi. So a person goes and kneels down and starts saying, no, this man must die in power. This man should be here. So you get such people. They come and introduce the topic. In fact, if the NUP, for instance, had got some young people, they go to Kavura and say, no, we want to get that money from iPod.
Yep.
Get it from there, distribute it to us.
Leonard, why would you focus on the National Unity Platform specifically?
No, because
there are
it is
8 players in the race.
I've already told you there are some who are inconsequential. They are gig candidates. I cannot donate my time to gig candidates. We are talking about contenders. You have 2 contenders. The race has been binarized. There are 2 contenders. You have the candidate of the NRM, the incumbent, yeah, and you have the NUP
so
candidate.
how is the NRM candidate doing?
The NRM candidate is business as usual. I don't expect them to change. I mean, for him, he knows this is his exercise. He's managing. He knows he will be announced winner. So I don't see why I should even spend my time on him.
In your analysis, what have been the highs, lows, and surprises in the 3 weeks?
But remember that 3 weeks ago, presidential candidates through their agents, in a meeting convened by the Electoral Commission, harmonized their programs.
Right.
To the best of my observation, most of the candidates, starting with the NRM candidate, Yoweri Museveni, we have tried to stick to that program. So far, there is no single public meeting, you call them campaign rallies, that we have missed on account of failing to meet our timeline. 2, we have not had any obstruction, whether from a natural cause or otherwise, we have not had. We had done meticulous planning and said our campaign this time round is going to be anchored on the party structure, the secretariat, the district, the sub-counties, the parishes, and the village committees. Previously, you remember we used to announce something we call the National Task Force in Kampala. This time we don't have it. That, in my view, so far...
Which team is Chigongo leading?
Chigongo is the national vice chairperson. He doesn't lead any team at all.
I thought he's head of the campaign.
No. The heads of the campaigns are done by the districts, district committees of NRM. The district committees of NRM will have what we call the mainstream. And then we have 8 leagues: veterans, historicals, workers, women, youth, PWD, elders. Those are the ones that do the mobilization. So far in our assessment, our meetings, our public meetings, the presidential public meetings, have been well attended. Well attended by the local NRM supporters and members of the public who are curious to hear what is this candidate coming to tell us this time round. Well attended by new voters. They are being supported by the national infrastructure. That's why you have seen 3 people who are constant, particularly now in the northern region, because they come from that side. The Secretary General, Honorable Richard Todwong, Hamson Oboa, the Government Chief Whip, and also our National Vice Chairperson for Northern Region, and the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honorable Anita Among. They have been a constant. 4, there's another group. The other national leaders, but from different regions. You have seen the chairman of Western Region, you have seen the chairman of the leagues, and then the 5th category, the parliamentary flag bearers. Parliamentary flag bearers because parliamentary flag bearers are high flyers. They are visible. If you have Ofwono Opondo, who people have been hearing on radio and watching on TV, but is in Amolata. When Todwong says we have Ofwono Opondo, the crowd surges. They want to see, they crane their neck. They want to see this. Yeah, they want to see. So yeah, it's a crowd puller. So you bring those. So our meetings generally have been well attended. I think beyond our own expectations.
So what is the extraordinary so far?
What's extraordinary?
Yeah, what do you find extraordinary in this?
Yeah, the style of the campaign, particularly these young leaders of the NRM, the Todwong group. Those are, in my view, I call them young because they are like 10 years younger than me, 12 years younger than me, 15, many of them are 15 years younger than me. They have injected in new energy. This is the first campaign you see that those leaders are there holding hands, and it is more like a rumba, politics mixed with the rumba. You see they are trying to energize the group you say have been giving us trouble, the young people. You see them. I think for me, that's captivating. I think we are now capturing that ground. I hope we are going to be able, starting from November, once members of parliament have been nominated, the candidates have been nominated, we are going to hold the ground, run with that crowd to the finishing line. So for me, that's a new element. The other element I see, you don't see obvious splashing of soft money. You see logistics, yes. You see tents, you see the platform well done, well decorated and so on, which should be done if you have resources. You see the crowd, but you don't see petty spreading of cash at the presidential campaign, which was not, is unlike before. Unlike before, we used to, by now you would have had accusation of somebody somebody has eaten our money, somebody who slept in the lodge and the money meant for logistics was stolen from them. I have not seen that. So I want to credit the team. For us who are getting older and we are watching from a distance, I think they're doing much better than us.
What are you eavesdropping from the rival camp?
The rival camp, and I want to tie that with him, particularly the person he says and the third candidate, you know, they have been belligerent. Nup people, Chagulanji's people. I had expected that the group from FDC, the old FDC, they now we have a new FDC. I think they had been built to come with belligerence. Once the state prevailed over and said, no, police, intelligence, the army, don't have open-chest confrontation with these guys. Maybe close one eye, even when they're on the street, close one eye, let them pass, because after all, they will not be on the street endlessly. They will be there for 15 minutes. Why? Because they have 4 other rallies to attend. So they can only be on the street for about 30 minutes maximum. And I think that has denied that group that had come with the belligerence, with the bellicosity, we are going to fight. And because of that, we have denied them the media headlines, even from you, the gullible journalists and the gullible media houses. We have denied them the headlines. Esasamaza.
Yeah, but you would give it to them. Even with the blockades, they are able to raise huge crowds.
I am saying, I think that, and I hope you police officers, Mr. Byakagawa, maintain that posture. Maintain that posture. We deny these guys unnecessary headlines and also sympathy. You remember, even NRM people, when NRM people, the reasonable NRM members, when they sit in their sitting room and they are watching TV, they are watching their TV news, and they see police having rough tackle with these young people, particularly these young people who are actually our children, many of them are the age of our children. They say, but are these NRM people reasonable? Because they see us as the people in charge of the security. Now, when a policeman does even their own mistake, you cannot divorce that police mistake or policing mistake from the NRM.
Thank you.
And so I think that's something new.
Thank you. Honorable Semuju, do you feel astonished by the level of compliance that opposition
They're
candidates
going for personal attacks.
that opposition candidates have really demonstrated over the 3 weeks?
When you're competing with a mafia like a group, like NRM, you will need briefing and debriefing almost daily. The NRM, Mr. Museveni and his group, decided how this campaign should run. First, the opposition and mainly the Honorable Kyakoze and his group must not have money at all. That's why very quickly they brought a law in Parliament and said even the money they're entitled to under the law, remove it. But I am also told they have deployed people all over the world to ensure that even Ugandans who are making a contribution, they don't make that contribution. I was in South Sudan. We had gone for a parliamentary program. And I met there Ugandans who are raising money for National Unity Platform. They told me actually in the market that we are raising money monthly. They have made sure that money doesn't flow. I'm told that even if you are coming with $1,000 in a bag, they must follow you to your residence to ensure that that money is for Nyanya, not for campaign. So make sure they don't have money. That is one. Two, make sure they don't pass and use the main roads leading to the main trading centers, areas that are highly habited. Restrict them to peripheral roads where they are almost meeting nobody, where there is no traffic. And then slowly walk them to the venue of their rally. I have told the people here, 2016, I was in charge of Dr. Besigye's nomination. We spent 4 hours walking from Nambole, and our rally, nomination rally was in Nakivubo. They told Kyagulanyi, you can't have a rally in Katwe. They took him far away in Natete, not even Natete itself, away from Natete, and they are leading you there. But also remember, I don't want to forget that Museveni had just concluded his first phase of the campaign under PDM. He had reached everything. So Museveni and his group sat down, crafted the sort of campaign, and I want the risk of repeating myself, because Museveni now officially is 81 years old. There is things that an 80-year-old man cannot do. I am told the reason he even repeats his own speeches, he moves with the screens, 2 of them huge. At some rallies, the first press speech of the previous day, and then he makes few remarks. What Opondo thinks is a tactic, it is being conditioned by the biological inadequacies. You can't have an 80. In Africa, it is common. I saw people in Cameroon walking a beer to go and pick, yes, but they are walking him like a toddler to go and pick nomination forms. And in NRM, it is typical. I saw them sponsoring Moses Ari to go and become an MP. Immediately, he completes NRM campaigns, he's in Germany for treatment. But they know how they deal with their old people. So they don't want to stretch them. So this particular campaign was made to suit Museveni's biological limitations, but also to fit his lack of popularity. Because Museveni as a person, he fears crowds. You go back and read Onapito's book. In the middle of the night, he's calling Onapito, why is my crowd? I've told you, I was in Makerere doing journalism. And Museveni took journalists to a press conference to say he had a bigger nomination crowd than Semoge. Even came with a footy ruler. He said, I had measured the Kororo. One person fits, this footy ruler is the size of a person. So I had 2 million at my nomination.
Just a second. Opondo was at the secretariat then. Is this true?
No, he wasn't at the secretariat. He was
at the secretariat.
96. You are still New Vision.
It was.
Yeah.
No, but Semuju is now changing the story.
You are
You remember, Semuju is one who has been on these shows here, saying Museveni was too old to do rallies. He even peddled here that Museveni was going to change the constitution so that parliament votes.
I have never said that.
You have been you and Miriam Matembe
because
here.
I fairly know Museveni.
Now Museveni drives actually for on average 40 kilometers. If you look at those districts, yes, 40. Yeah.
40 kilometers.
No, look at this district. For example, we did the districts of
But
Nebi.
you are diverting me.
Nebi,
You're coming back.
Nebi and Zombo on one day. At 11, Museveni is in
Museveni
Nebi.
is young.
and
If
goes,
that
I'm not saying
pleases
he's
you,
young.
can I make
I am saying
Yes.
Museveni has now disproved you because he's able to do public rallies.
Okay.
2 of them every day, or even 3,
At the
which you did not believe he would do.
That's incredible, isn't it?
so when they were assembling, when they were assembling a team and a program, initially he wanted to address only 50 rallies because, and this is obvious, we all have our parents who have grown old. But I don't want to lose the main. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose the main point.
Are you now the one who has changed this program so that he does it too?
And allow Ofwono
In addition to state duties.
and allow Opondo to smallerize. Because the issues of Opondo must be answering is not answering. It's now smallering very serious issues that you are competing with a person, but you are leading him to the bushes. I saw Kyagulanyi in Kaseke, in Kasana, for 2 hours pushing a vehicle which was stuck. But the main road, as I said, was there with no traffic. So that is the tactic that they agreed. Make sure they don't approach the main trading centers using the main road.
And they complied.
That's why I said at the beginning that when you're competing against Museveni, you need briefing and debriefing. Why? If you don't comply, you may do 10% of the districts. And you can give them credit because you need to make a choice. They have said you will pass here, they have deployed, they met police, they met ESO, they gave them instructions. Make sure they don't do this. And you know, in Africa, even to campaign against these African dictators, it itself looks like a favor. In Tanzania, the competitor is in jail, his party is banned. So, and I was in Dar es Salaam recently. The only posters that are in Dar es Salaam are for Samia. So if you want to compete, because there is a value that you will extract by participation. I am not one of those who believe in boycotting, because that's the only option available. Either, if you want to campaign, you must know the traps they are laying for you. If you fall in those traps, and that's why you saw day 1, I think day 3 of the campaign, police has a press conference. Here, Kyagulanyi, his vehicle was about to knock a pedestrian. Here, the vehicle, his camera was about to knock a cow. And I said police, and that's how you're policing campaigns, because campaign is supposed to be a very exciting event. I have told people here, Nambole is my neighbor. I stay not far from Nambole. When people are going to watch football, you will see the excitement on the road. But you cannot say a big exercise like a presidential campaign. You must make sure there is no excitement, because that's a tactic. So Opondo thinks he wants to blame the victim.
As we take a break,
So,
journalistically speaking, where
Yes.
is the headline so far in the 3 weeks?
it also depends, because when I was deploying journalists at the Observer, where I once worked as a political editor, we made a plan and we said, you see, at every rally, pick the issues that presidential candidates are outlining, and then make sure that you interview the people to establish if they have understood. Because it's not that they don't say these things, but it depends, because some journalists will go. One time we sent a journalist to go and cover an event. He came back and said the minister was not there. I was still working at Monde. And I told him, guy, if the function has failed because of him, for me that's the story, bring it. You cannot tell me that the minister was not there, therefore you don't have a story. It depends on the knowledge and experience of the journalist. Because presidential campaigns are not just about the speeches. They're also about these restrictions. Go and profile them, the compliance with the law. In 2006, the M7 campaign chased our journalists. That time, as I said, I was working at Observer. At the left, I was at Observer. And we had instructed them to look at the compliance, who is complying with the law. In Nirira, where we had Taire Idweg, who was an MP, he had now become a DPC. So he stopped USJ Zerare at 6, that is past time. And Museveni came 2 days later and addressed Zerare up to around 8. So Benon Oluka was journalist asked Taire Odwege, but he stopped Zerare the other day. So when Museveni came, they dropped Oluka in Nakasongo and chased him. So when you see these ones, this Ofwono Opondo here chasing the media, they even want a blackout. They have chased some media houses. They are not covering Museveni. They want publicity, but they would rather